Okay, we are live. Welcome to a Monday Doodle. Maybe you can notice that my studio, the apartment looks a bit different. It's because our daughter has finally have been given her own room because now she's at that age. So I have kind of withdrawn. I'm cranked up here in the window shelf, so I have to figure out new ways to make YouTube videos and ways to work. There's also the dinner table, of course, but soon I guess I have to go into that studio somewhere, I think. But there's always a solution. Today I'll be talking about the deadline that I created 7 days ago. I told myself to create 3 sketches for spreads. Plus, I want to find a style for the children's book that I'm working on, the one with Frank the monster. And as much as I hate deadlines, not hate, I just don't like them. As much I think that they are a deep necessary tool for me. Otherwise, I would be sketching for this book for half a year or so and not getting anywhere. So I can say now that here's the plan. Yesterday it was Sunday, actually today's Monday, and maybe I haven't how do you put these in all these boxes, but I can tell you that I'm very close to the deadline. I have 3 sketched spreads that just needs a bit of fine-tuning, and then I'm actually finished. And I'll show you the sketches and also the style, and then if I have the time, because my daughter and wife comes home soon, I think I'll manage. I'll make a small doodle of a character that I need in one of the spreads. So yes, what do we have here? Black coffee. Cheers out there. You can begin to feel the spring, even though people are out there in huge winter jackets and hats and gloves. You can feel the sun shining now, and you can hear the birds chirping the way. They're singing that spring is coming, which is so nice. Actually, winter hasn't been feeling so long this year because I think I've just been busy with many projects and taking care of my daughter and all that, because yeah, you know, people out there who have little kids, a lot of illnesses, and then you stay home and all that. So I've been busy. Okay, I'll show you the spreads. This one I believe that you also saw last time. I think this was also finished, one of the first spreads, where we see, I'm very happy about this composition, because here we see the central character, the girl who imagines her monster. This is her monster friend who makes his appearance whenever she's angry. And I'm just experimenting with the style here. So if I just remove this one, you can see that I experiment with making his arm more watercolorish. So this is just a test. And I think that I will go for the watercolor look combined with the digital, because I like that feeling of texture. I think that's one of the most wonderful thing about children's books and also art in general, is texture. I want that texture into it. So I have to work that in. Another spread, which I just finished 2 days ago, is this one, where we see her father. They're going on a skiing vacation, and we have one scene here where Frank the monster kind of strangulates her father because she's angry. And then the next spread, there's a lot of telling about the central character's thought about why the dad wants to go skiing, and there's a lot about her father and her mom's relationship because they're divorced. So I needed something action-packed, and then a more quiet scene where we have place for the text, a lot of text here, but also I needed to show that they're on the way to skiing vacation. So I'm very happy. This took me a while to figure out. You can see here the old, let me just see, the old. Let me just remove that one, then you can see the old composition. Whoops. This was the old composition where we see the dad from a front perspective. And then I used this tree here as in the composition to make an overlap for this scene. But I just felt that it became kind of weird seeing him from the front and then going there. My fear was also that if I did this, which I wanted to do, if I made him look from the side here, it would look as if he ran into the tree. So what I did was I removed the tree over on this part. I removed the tree and I made him larger. So we have a clear reading that he's here. We are zoomed in, and this is a complete different scene where we see just the side of a tree. So I think this is what I'll go with. And then there's a whole thing about coloring, which I need to figure out because I don't know much about colors. I know a little, but I have to figure out a palette that is more simple than what I usually do. So this is also a thing I need to figure out. We can zoom in here. Whoops. I have a little pack of raisins being thrown out of the window by the monster. I think that's a nice detail. And then, of course, a bus full of skiing tourists on the way. So that was the second spread. And then the last spread here is this one where we see Frank has transformed into a spider. And you can tell I need one more leg on Frank here to make him like a spider. But I really like the way the father kind of goes between the legs, so it makes Frank more real. So yeah, these are the 3 spreads. And the style I will go with, as you can tell, is he's actually been drawn with a brush pen, Frank, and also the characters. So you have that analog feel. And then I go with digital coloring and also some watercolor down here. You can see here, there's a bit of shade here. This is actually watercolor. So I will also use a bit of watercolor to imply some shades on the snow. But what I figured I could just do now, begin on, is making this character here more finished. Because right now his elbow is sort of off and I want to just work a bit on the anatomy. I also need to work on his mom here. I'll do that later on. So deadlines can be really handy. Please see here. Okay. Go to the drawing pad. This one, and maybe also this one. I could also use pencil maybe. I think my Muji pen here has run out. It was last time, but then I just thought maybe if I gave it some days. No, it's finished. Okay. Sometimes I go at it with when I sketch with a ballpoint pen. I also use pencil sometimes. Other times I use a marker to block in some shapes, just to have something to go about, because I think it's really nice approach sometimes to make more of a silhouette. see if the character designs work. Now I'm just sitting up on my knees. I imagine that, so on the drawing he was like throwing a piece of wrapping for his candy over the shoulder, which I did because I want to show this guy because they're having a conflict later in the book, so I wanted to have kind of a conflict already, that she doesn't really like this kid, and he's sort of like a kid who doesn't care about nature. He just throws garbage into the nature. So he could be looking the opposite way. Well, what to do with the other arm here? Could it be hanging down like this, just like that? We can try. A timer. If his hand is just kind of like hanging down here, he could, this makes him look lazy, just hanging down there. I think that could work. And then we have these skiing boots on. How do they go? I haven't been studying the skiing boots as much as I wanted to yet, but it's just a sketch. Then he throws it, that we have a foreshortening now, so he throws it over the arm, or over the shoulder. How do we do that? So shoulder here. So you can see maybe a little bit of the elbow here. And then his hands would be, his thumb would be over there. Wow, that was the bottle container, you could hear there. This looks a bit weird, his hand still. I gotta figure that out. But let's just go with the zipper here. And making this one open here, and then making such the central character Ellen's closed would make Ellen seem more closed, and he would be then different. I'm trying to think them in contrasts, and maybe he's looking the opposite direction. Has this thing here on his helmet, which gives him a lot of character also. This was the writer's idea, actually, to give him this kind of thing on his helmet, which I think was absolutely brilliant once I heard it. I said, yes, definitely he needs to have one of these. And this is the whole character of him, which I've worked a bit on, but not much. I want to give him a longer nose than Ellen, different looking nose. And then this kind of lazy expression. Oh, wait a second. No, of course not. He was going to eat a chocolate bar. That was the thing. That was also in the original sketch. was a tough one to erase, this one. 3B. Anyway, so his hand go up here. Chocolate bar. Does he have mitts on when he eats it? No, he probably doesn't. He could have been taking that off. And then there's no room for me for the candy wrapping, but somewhere here. Throws it away. He's like completely careless about what's going on over there. So what I'm trying to communicate is I need to have him over there. I think it will be a nice interaction. So she's looking at the father interaction here. Frank is looking down at the father, very angry. She puts on sunglasses, looking over them, and he is looking in a different direction. So there's plenty of things going on. So we have an exciting spread. Yes. Pause for a cup of coffee. There's something about that arm though. This is where I would often go about it by doing it myself. So kind of throwing, if I throw, eat a wrapper, take the wrap off, and then it's more like here. And then the arm goes like that. Oops. Okay. Okay, I gotta work more on that arm, I just feel that I need a mirror. But what I could do now then is just to get a feeling of how the skiing boots look like. So I'm using here a photo reference. Let's see if I can find someone good. Could be these ones. Just so that I know. So they have this tilting here, downwards, and then down, quite large here, and then they go all the way around here. And then they have this thing down here, which protrudes from beneath it. Same thing here. And to make Ellen the central character and this guy over here differ, I think I will let his pen go over, and then make Ellen's pants go into the boot itself to make another distinction between them. Yes. And then I need to figure out the snow. How thick is the snow? It's probably not that thick down here at the bottom where they are standing, so it could be just a very small outline here. A hint of some snow lying here. And then obviously I could make some small footprints here and there, because at the end of a skiing hill there are always many people have been threading the snow. So I will do this with watercolors just to make some shades. And he will have some shade, of course, also. Maybe this way if sun is coming this way. Yes. All right. I'll keep fine-tuning this character here and work on the mother as well. And then I think that's it. I will then start scaling up the drawings using Photoshop and printing them, and then I'll use a light table here in a couple of days. I'm going to a place where there's a light table where I can work on them, and I'll make a video about that too. Not a Monday Doodle, but a different separate video. Thank you for tuning in. I'll end off just by showing this beautiful light strip up here on the building. Spring is coming. Have a splendid Monday, everyone, and see you soon.